Once upon a time, on a bright summer morning, a cheerful little tailor was sitting by his window, stitching away with all his might. Suddenly, a voice drifted up from the street below. "Good jelly to sell. Good jelly to sell." The cry was so sweet and tempting that the tailor couldn't resist. He popped his head out the window and called down, "Hello there, my good woman. Come on up, I'll buy some of that." The old woman, hauling her heavy basket, trudged up the stairs. She was a bit tired, but she hoped for a good sale. She laid out all her pots of jelly for the tailor. He was a very particular man. He picked up each pot, lifted the lid, and gave it a good sniff. He said finally, "This jelly seems quite good. I think I'll have ... for half ounces, or maybe just a quarter of a pound." The woman's face fell. She had hoped for a much bigger sale after climbing all those stairs. Annoyed and grumbling, she measured out the tiny amount, took her payment, and left in a huff. But the little tailor was delighted. "Ah, this jelly is just the thing," he exclaimed to himself. "It will give me strength and make me clever." He fetched a large round loaf of bread from his cupboard, cut off a big slice, and spread the sweet jelly all over it. He placed his treat nearby and went back to his sewing, feeling more energetic than ever. The sweet smell of the jelly soon filled the little room, and it wasn't long before it attracted some uninvited guests. A cloud of flies descended, drawn by the delicious scent, all wanting a taste. "Hey, who invited you?" the tailor shouted, waving his hands to shoo them away. But the flies, not understanding a word he said, were persistent. They buzzed off for a moment, only to return in even greater numbers. The tailor's patience wore thin. He couldn't stand it any longer. He grabbed a tattered cloth from the corner. "All right, now you'll get it," he muttered, and with a mighty swing, he brought the cloth down hard upon the swarm. Twack! When he lifted the cloth and looked, he was astonished. There, lying still before him, were 7 of them. 7 flies, all gone. "Wow," he said, puffing out his chest and admiring his own work. 7 at one blow. That's really something. A thought sparked in his mind. The whole town must know about this amazing feat. He immediately went to work. He found a piece of fabric and skillfully cut out a belt. With great care, he stitched onto it in big, bold letters, 7 at one blow. Then he stopped and thought again. "The town, no, that's not big enough," he declared. "The whole world shall know of my might." And his heart fluttered with pure joy and excitement. The tailor proudly fastened his new belt around his waist. His tiny workshop suddenly felt far too small for a hero of his caliber. It was time to go out into the world and seek his fortune. He looked around for supplies to take on his journey. He didn't find much, just an old cheese, which he tucked into his pocket. As he stepped outside, he saw a little bird caught in a bush. "You'll do," he said, carefully freeing the bird and placing it in his other pocket right next to the cheese. And so, feeling light and full of energy, he set off on his grand adventure. His path led him up a steep mountain. When he finally reached the very top, he saw an incredible sight. A terrible, massive giant was sitting there, casually looking out over the wide world below. The little tailor, unafraid, marched right up to him. "Good day to you, comrade," he called out cheerfully. "I see you're enjoying the view. I'm on my way to seek my fortune. How about you join me?" The giant squinted down at the tiny figure and scoffed. "You little rascal, you miserable little thing, that may be—" The tailor replied with a grin. He proudly undid his coat to reveal his belt. "But read this, and then tell me what kind of man I am." The giant leaned in closer to read the words stitched in bold letters. 7 at one blow. The giant's eyes widened. He assumed it meant the tailor had taken down 7 men with a single strike. His contempt quickly turned into a glimmer of respect. Still, he needed to test this little fellow's strength. The giant picked up a large stone from the ground and squeezed it with his immense hand until water dripped out. There, the giant boomed. "Do that, if you have the strength." The little tailor just laughed. "Is that all? I call that child's play." He reached into his pocket, pulled out the soft cheese, and squeezed it with all his might. The watery whey poured out, trickling through his fingers. "Well," said the tailor, holding up the dripping cheese. "What do you think of that?" Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel, where we dive into the world's most fascinating stories. Today, we re-following the incredible journey of a character who proves that wit is mightier than muscle. The Valiant Little Tailor. Our story picks up with the tailor, fresh from his triumph of killing 7 flies at one blow, proudly wearing a belt that declares his feat. He soon crosses paths with a colossal giant. The giant, looking down at the tiny man, scoffs. "You little rascal, you miserable fellow, but our tailor is unfazed." "That may be," he retorts, puffing out his chest and showing the giant his belt. "You can read there whether I am a man or not." The giant reads the inscription. 7 at one blow. His mind immediately jumps to the conclusion that this little fellow must have slain 7 men. A flicker of respect, mixed with suspicion, crosses his face. He decides to test this supposed champion. Picking up a stone, the giant squeezes it so hard that water drips from its pores. "Now you do that," he challenges. "That is, if you have the strength." The little tailor just smirks. "That's not much," he says. "I call that play." He reaches into his pocket, but instead of a stone, he pulls out a soft piece of cheese. He squeezes it with all his might, and the Milky Way gushes out far more impressively than the water from the stone. "Well," he asks, "what do you think of that?" The giant is utterly baffled. He can't believe his eyes. Still not convinced, the giant picks up another stone and hurls it into the air with such force that it almost disappears from sight. "Now, little fellow, suppose you do that," he bellows. The tailor nods. "Well thrown," he says, "but your stone fell back to earth again. I'll throw one that will never come back." He reaches into his pocket once more, this time pulling out a small bird. He tosses it into the air. The bird, delighted to be free, takes wing and flies off into the sky, never to be seen again. "What do you think of that, comrade?" the tailor asks. The giant has to admit, "There is no doubt that you can throw up, but we will see if you can carry it." He leads the tailor to a mighty oak tree that has been felled and lies on the forest floor. Now, the giant says, "If you are strong enough, help me carry this tree out of the wood." "Willingly," answers the little man. "You take the trunk on your shoulders, and I'll take the branches with all their foliage. That's much the most difficult part." The giant, thinking this is a fair deal, hoists the heavy trunk onto his shoulders. Meanwhile, the tailor slyly hops onto a branch at the back and makes himself comfortable. The giant, unable to see what's happening behind him, begins to struggle forward, carrying the entire weight of the tree, plus the little tailor. Our hero, having the time of his life, sits merrily on his branch, whistling a cheerful tune as if carrying the tree was mere child's play. After stumbling along for some time, the giant, exhausted and out of breath, cries out, "Look here, I must let go of the tree." In a flash, the tailor leaps off the branch, lands on his feet, and grabs the tree with both arms, as if he'd been carrying it all along. He says, with a hint of mock disappointment, "You see, you can't even carry the tree, and you're such a big fellow." They continue on their way and soon come to a cherry tree. The giant, eager to show off his strength again, grabs the topmost branches where the ripest fruit hangs, bends them down, and gives them to the tailor to hold while he eats. But the tailor's arms are far too weak to hold back the tension of the massive branch. The moment the giant lets go, the tree springs back into place, flinging the poor tailor high into the air. He lands a moment later, thankfully without a scratch. The giant laughs. "How is this? Haven't you the strength to hold such a weak sprig as that?" "It is not strength that is lacking," the tailor retorts, thinking quickly. "How could it be for one who has slain 7 at one blow? I simply jumped over the tree because hunters are shooting down there in the bushes. You jump it too, if you can." The giant, feeling his pride is on the line, takes a running leap. But he's too big and clumsy. He can't clear the tree and gets hopelessly tangled in the branches. Once again, the little tailor had outsmarted him. Impressed despite himself, the giant says, "As you are such a gallant fellow, come with me to our den and stay the night." The tailor agrees and follows him. When they arrive at the den, a group of other giants are sitting round a fire, each devouring a whole roasted sheep. The tailor looks around at the huge cavern and thinks to himself, "Well, there's certainly more elbow room here than in my workshop." The giant shows him to a bed and tells him to get some sleep. But the bed is enormous, clearly made for a giant. The clever tailor, sensing something is amiss, decides not to sleep in it. Instead, he curls up quietly in a dark corner of the room. At midnight, just as he suspected, the giant creeps back into the room. He raises a great iron staff and brings it crashing down on the bed with a single mighty stroke. confident he has made an end of the little grasshopper. The next morning, the giants head out into the woods, completely forgetting about the tailor. Imagine their shock when they see him alive and well, cheerfully walking along behind them. They are absolutely terrified. They think he must be some kind of invincible being who can't be killed. Fearing for their lives, they believe he is going to destroy them all, so they turn and run away in a panic, scattering in all directions. And so the little tailor marches on, following his nose, his reputation now preceding him. After a long journey, he arrives at the courtyard of a royal palace. Exhausted from his travels, he lies down on the soft grass and quickly falls asleep. Soon, people begin to gather around him, curious about this stranger. They look at him and their eyes fall upon the belt he wears. They read the words, 7 at one blow. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Oh my, they whisper. Why would such a great lord come here in a time of peace? He must be a mighty champion. Word spreads like wildfire. Courtiers rush to inform the king, explaining that a great warrior has appeared. They advise the king that if a war were to break out, this man would be an invaluable asset to the kingdom. They insist that he must not be allowed to leave at any price. The king, intrigued by these reports, agrees. And so, while our little tailor snoozes peacefully, a whole new chapter of his adventure is about to begin, all thanks to a swarm of flies and a very clever mind. What do you think will happen next? Will the king hire him? Will his cleverness finally run out? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. See you next time. So our little tailor, full of confidence, just kept walking, following his nose wherever it led. After a very, very long journey, he found himself in the courtyard of a magnificent royal palace. He was completely exhausted, so he just lay down on the soft grass and instantly fell asleep. While he was snoozing, people started to gather around him. They were curious about this stranger. They looked at his belt and read the embroidered words, 7 at one blow. Their eyes widened. Goodness me, they whispered among themselves. Why would such a great and powerful lord come here during a time of peace? He must be an incredibly mighty warrior. Word spread like wildfire through the palace. Soon the news reached the king himself. The king's advisors all agreed if a war ever broke out, this man would be an invaluable asset. They couldn't possibly let him leave. The king, intrigued, called his council together. He decided to send one of his courtiers to wait by the sleeping tailor. The courtier's mission was simple. As soon as the tailor woke up, offer him a position in the king's army. So, the messenger stood patiently by the tailor's side. After a while, the tailor stirred. He stretched his arms and legs, yawned, and his eyes fluttered open. The messenger immediately delivered the king's offer. The tailor, seeing his chance, didn't hesitate. "That is precisely why I came," he said with a bold look. "I am more than ready to enter the king's service." He was welcomed with great honor. They gave him his own private house, a place fit for a hero. But the other soldiers weren't so thrilled. In fact, they were furious. They wished the little tailor was 1,000 miles away. "What are we going to do about him?" They grumbled to each other. "If we get into a fight with him, he'll take out 7 of us with a single swing. We don't stand a chance." They couldn't see any way out. So they made a decision. They all marched together to the king and demanded to be discharged. "Your Majesty," their spokesman said, "we never signed up to serve alongside a man who can kill 7 people at one blow. It's him or us." The king was in a terrible position. He hated the idea of losing all his loyal, veteran soldiers just for this one newcomer. He secretly wished he'd never laid eyes on the tailor and desperately wanted to get rid of him. But he was also terrified. He didn't dare just dismiss the tailor. What if the man got angry, killed all the king's people, and then seized the throne for himself? It was a frightening thought. The king paced his chambers, thinking for a long, long time. Finally, an idea struck him. He sent for the little tailor. When the tailor arrived, the king put on his most regal face. "Since you are such a great warrior," he began, "I have a special proposal for you. A challenge fit for a true hero." He continued, "In a forest within my kingdom, there live 2 vicious giants. They are a plague upon the land, robbing, murdering, and burning everything in their path. No one dares to go near them for fear of their life. If you can defeat and slay both of these giants, I will give you my only daughter's hand in marriage and half of my entire kingdom as her dowry. To help you, 100 of my best horsemen will accompany you." The little tailor's mind raced. "Well, now, this is something for a man like me," he thought to himself. "A beautiful princess and half a kingdom. You don't get an offer like that every day." So he said to the king with all the swagger he could muster, "Oh yes, Your Majesty, I can handle a couple of giants, and I won't need the 100 horsemen. A man who can finish 7 at one blow certainly isn't afraid of 2. And so the little tailor set off. The 100 horsemen followed, though they kept a safe distance. When they reached the edge of the dark, imposing forest, the tailor turned to his escort. "You all just wait here," he commanded. "I'll go in and take care of the giants myself." He confidently strode into the woods, his eyes darting left and right, looking for any sign of his enormous foes. After a short walk, he spotted them. The 2 giants were fast asleep under a huge tree, snoring so loudly that the branches above them trembled with each breath. The little tailor, quick as a flash, quietly filled both of his pockets with heavy, smooth stones from the ground. He then nimbly climbed the tree the giants were sleeping under. He crept along a thick branch until he was directly above the sleeping giants. He positioned himself carefully, and then, one by one, he started dropping stones onto the chest of the first giant. For a long time, the giant didn't even notice. He was in a deep sleep. But eventually, one stone must have hit a sensitive spot. He woke up with a start. shoved his companion, and growled, "What are you hitting me for?" "You're dreaming," the other giant grumbled, half asleep. "I didn't touch you." They both settled down again, and their snores soon filled the forest once more. The tailor smiled. He shifted his position slightly and started dropping stones on the second giant. This one woke up much faster. "What's that?" he roared. "Why are you throwing things at me?" "I'm not throwing anything at you," the first giant answered, clearly annoyed. They argued back and forth for a minute, but they were both so tired that they soon gave up and fell back asleep. Now the little tailor decided to up the stakes. He searched in his pocket for the heaviest stone he had. He took careful aim and threw it down with all his might, right onto the first giant's chest. "That's it. This is too much." The giant screamed, leaping to his feet in a blind rage. He turned on his friend and punched him so hard that the whole tree shook. The other giant, furious at being woken up, and hit him right back. All hell broke loose. They fought with incredible fury, tearing up entire trees by their roots and using them as clubs to batter each other. The fight was brutal and short. Soon, both giants lay dead on the ground, surrounded by the wreckage of the forest. The little tailor carefully climbed down from his perch. "Woo, another bit of luck," he said to himself. "It's a good thing they didn't tear up the tree I was sitting in, or I would have had to jump from branch to branch like a squirrel." He walked over to the fallen giants, drew his sword, and gave each of them a few dramatic slashes in the chest to make it look good. Then he strolled casually back to the waiting horsemen. "The deed is done," he announced. "I've made an end of both of them. It was a tough fight, I'll tell you. They were so desperate, they were ripping up trees to defend themselves. But it was no use against a man who can kill 7 at one blow." The horsemen were astonished. "You're not wounded?" one of them asked, disbelievingly. "Not a scratch," the tailor replied cheerfully. "Didn't even mess up my hair." The horsemen still couldn't quite believe it. They cautiously rode into the forest to see for themselves. And there they were, the 2 giants, lying in pools of their own blood, surrounded by the uprooted trees. It was a scene of utter devastation. The little tailor returned to the palace and proudly claimed his promised reward. But the king was having second thoughts. He regretted making the offer and was now desperately trying to think of another way to get rid of this troublesome hero. "Before you can have my daughter and half my kingdom," the king said, trying to sound firm, "you must perform one more heroic act. Deep in that same forest, there lives a fearsome unicorn. It causes great damage and terrorizes the area. You must capture it for me." "Then are you not wounded?" asked the horseman, rushing to the tailor. "Nothing of the sort," he answered with a dismissive wave. "I haven't turned a hair." The horsemen were skeptical. They couldn't believe this small man had defeated 2 giants. So they rode into the woods to see for themselves, and there they found them, the two giants wallowing in their own blood amidst uprooted trees, a scene of utter destruction. The little tailor, brimming with confidence, went straight to the king to claim his promised reward. But the king, it turned out, had a case of seller's remorse. He looked at the tiny tailor and thought, "Surely, I don't have to give this man half my kingdom and my daughter's hand." He needed to find a way out of his promise. So the king devised a new plan. "Before you can possess my daughter and the half of my kingdom," he said, trying to sound regal and imposing, "you must perform another heroic act. There is a unicorn in the woods, a creature of immense power that does great damage. You must capture it for me." The tailor simply shrugged. "A unicorn, that doesn't scare me any more than two giants did. Remember, 7 at 1 blow. That's my motto." He grabbed a sturdy rope and a sharp axe and headed back into the very same woods. He told the men assigned to help him to just wait at the edge. "I'll handle this," he said. He didn't have to search for long. The unicorn, a magnificent but fearsome beast, soon appeared and charged straight at him, its horn aimed like a spear, ready to end him without a second thought. But the tailor was clever. "Softly, softly," he whispered to himself. "Haste makes waste." He stood his ground, waiting until the very last second. Just as the unicorn was about to impale him, he sidestepped and hid behind a large tree. The unicorn, running at full speed, couldn't stop. It slammed headfirst into the tree, and its horn became stuck deep in the trunk. It was trapped. "Now I have you," the tailor said, stepping out from behind the tree with a grin. He calmly tied the rope around the unicorn's neck. Then, with a few swings of his axe, he carefully chipped away the wood around the horn, freeing the creature. He then led the now-subdued unicorn out of the forest, gathered his attendants, and presented the incredible prize to the stunned king. Surely now the reward was his. But the king was a stubborn man. He still wasn't ready to give up his daughter and his kingdom to a simple tailor. He needed one more test, one final impossible task. Before the wedding can take place, the king announced, "You must capture a wild boar that has been terrorizing the countryside." He added that a group of his finest huntsmen would accompany the tailor. "All right," the tailor said with a confident smile. "This will be child's play." But he had no intention of letting the huntsmen help. As they approached the woods, he told them to wait outside, and they were more than happy to do so. They had faced this wild boar before and had no desire for a repeat encounter. Once again, the tailor ventured into the woods alone. It wasn't long before the boar spotted him. It charged, its mouth foaming, its tusks gleaming, ready to tear him to pieces. But the nimble hero was too quick. He spotted a small abandoned chapel nearby and dashed inside. The boar, blinded by rage, charged in right after him. The tailor, however, didn't stop. He immediately leaped out of a window on the other side of the chapel. The boar, trapped inside, tried to follow, but the window was too high and too small for its massive body. It slammed the door shut, trapping the ferocious beast inside. The tailor then calmly walked back to the huntsman. "The prisoner is secure," he announced. "You can go see for yourselves." He then made his way back to the palace. The king, seeing the tailor return once again, finally ran out of excuses. Whether he liked it or not, he was forced to fulfill his promise. He had to give the tailor his daughter and half of his kingdom. The wedding was celebrated with great splendor, though not with much joy from the royal family. And just like that, the little tailor became a king. If only they knew he wasn't a great warrior, but just a clever tailor, they would have been even more upset. Life as a king seemed to suit the tailor well. But one night, the new queen heard her husband talking in his sleep. "Boy," he mumbled, "make me that waistcoat and patch those breeches, or I'll whack you with my yardstick." The queen was horrified. Her husband, the great hero, the slayer of giants, was nothing but a common tailor. The next morning, she ran to her father, the old king, in tears. She told him everything and begged him to free her from this marriage. The king, seeing another chance to get rid of the tailor, comforted her. "Don't worry," he said. "Tonight, leave your bedroom door unlocked. My guards will stand outside. Once he's asleep, they'll sneak in, bind him, and carry him off to a ship. He'll be sent to the far side of the world, and you'll never see him again." The queen felt relieved, but their whole conversation had been overheard by the king's loyal water-bearer, who happened to like the new tailor king. He quickly went and told the tailor the entire plot. "Oh, they did they?" the tailor said with a sly smile. "Well, I shall put a stop to that." That night, he went to bed as usual. When his wife thought he was fast asleep, she got up, quietly unlocked the door, and slipped back into bed. The tailor, who was only pretending to be asleep, then began to speak in a loud, clear voice, as if in a dream. "Boy," he shouted, "make me that waistcoat and patch those breeches, or I'll show you what my yardstick can do. I have slain 7 at one blow, killed 2 giants, captured a unicorn, and trapped a wild boar. Am I supposed to be afraid of a few men standing outside my bedroom door?" When the guards hiding in the hallway heard this, a great fear seized them. They thought the Tailor King knew they were there and was ready for a fight. They dropped their weapons and ran for their lives, as if a whole army was after them. None of them ever dared to challenge him again. And so the valiant little tailor, through his cleverness and wit, remained a king for the rest of his life. Thank you so much for watching. What did you think of the tailor's clever tricks? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss another adventure. See you next time.